Hello there.
That last episode of Sopranos was a 40-minute masterpiece, in my opinion. They covered so much ground in that 40-minute runtime, and I'm hella excited to see what they have in store this episode as we up it up a notch. We've gone back to the 50-plus minute runtime with Sopranos episode 9. What's going on, guys? My name is Elie Moses, a 23-year-old law and film student here in Sydney, Australia, absolutely shooting his shot, and today we are watching, as I said, episode 9 of the Sopranos season 2, titled From Where to Eternity. We're going to get into the reaction. We're going to have some fun with this thing, and I hope you guys have been enjoying these and the pace I'm getting them out at. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Let's smash it. Let's go. This show uses too much music for my liking in terms of copyright, man. The editing is... You know how many copyright claims I get? The day he proposes, he gets shot.
I'm so scared.
Hey, listen. This guy, he's a tough kid. Anybody can make it through something like this is Christopher. You hear me?
Big up Sylvia.
That's good. He got shot too and survived.
Look what they did to my son! Those sons of bitches! Fucking vodka. When you find him, I want him to suffer. You hear me, Sil? I want that motherfucker in agony.
Don't worry, we'll do the best we can.
Gismonte with a G.
The kid who died, right?
Well, you never heard of him?
Huh.
Well, him and his friend Matthew Bevilacqua were around with Maltisanti.
Never saw him hanging out with your buddy Christopher?
Nah.
I thought you wanted to help your friend.
Silence.
Tomorrow's gonna be another rough day, that's why.
I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. Is this light gonna bother you?
No. Good night.
Tony? I love you, Tony. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Not me, not the kids, not you.
Carmela, I can't do one of these tearful things till 5 o'clock in the morning tonight. I just can't. Not tonight.
Did you hear about Ralphie Rotaldo?
What about him?
The Brazilian he keeps on the side?
Yeah?
She had a baby.
And Christopher's in a hospital. This is on your mind now?
Maybe it has to do with the CK1 stinking up your shirt last Wednesday night.
It's over, months ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right what? I told you I cut it off.
Listen, Tony, if you're gonna keep doing what you do, then at the very least I want you to get a vasectomy.
You want me to do what?
Let's get real, Tony. Do you have any idea what a bastard child would do to this family? You ever think about the shame your children would feel? You're putting us all at risk.
Yeah, she completely aware. That answers my question from a couple episodes ago. Which would have been answered by now in the comments.
For AIDS. What do you think I am?
It seems like having a guma or a side chick is like an acceptable thing in these mafia families, and the wives just have to accept it and go along with it. Is that the case? Like the sanctity of marriage is just destroyed with that. Like, what, your wives aren't good enough? Everybody needs some love in this episode. And everybody needs Jesus in this show. Love how Pussy is holding the Gillette and the razor. Gotta shave that chest for the wire, you know? Come on, Chris, you gotta pull through, buddy.
They're working their asses off on him. All right. Well, we gotta stay positive, right? We gotta give him that.
Positive vibes only.
Yo, wait till they get a hold of Matt. My gosh. My gosh.
Gentle and merciful Lord Jesus, I want to speak to you now with an open heart, with an honest heart. Tonight, I ask you to take my sins and the sins of my family into your merciful heart. We have chosen this life in full awareness of the consequences of our sins. I know that Christopher's life is in your hands, and his fate is your will. I ask you humbly to spare him. And if it is your will to spare him, I ask that you deliver him from blindness and grant him vision. And through this vision, may he see your love and gain the strength to carry on in service to your mercy. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
It's such a it's such a difficult situation in terms of it places the viewers of like, all right, we've grown attached to these characters, all right, but you can tell, like, for instance, if someone in this society or someone in a part of this world, like a normal everyday citizen, saw the news and saw, oh, one of the mafia members got shot, and you know he's currently in a serious critical condition, probably a normal individual in like this show society would say good riddance, right? Like they would say that. But because we as the viewer get attached to these characters, maybe, like, I don't know, I'm rooting for Chris to pull through, because I like Chris as a character, but I'm not denying the fact that he's a murderer, he's a woman abuser, and things like that. So it's just, it places in that situation where it's kind of ironic they're asking for forgiveness after all the sins they've committed, which is like, that, I guess that's like the fact that, like, I'm a religious person, but the fact that it's just Carmela's aware, like even she says in her prayer, where I'm aware of like the sins that we committed by, you know, going into this sort of life and things like that. Like she's aware of that. So it's a situation where I wouldn't speak to Father Phil about it, because that guy, no, I'd speak to a different priest about it. But it's a very difficult situation, like morally, where Carmela, I don't know, with Carmela, she's like, she's being brought into this world, so does God allow that like leeway for her because she's a part of this world, but she's got beautiful children to raise and things like that. So it's a question of asking this, and I'm trying to articulate my words here. I'm finding it difficult to, but I'm not just gonna say, yeah, I'm rooting for Chris to pull through and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, these guys are criminals. They're part of the mafia. They've hurt various individuals. They commit atrocious acts, hits, they kill individuals. Like, yeah, like the 10 Commandments have been broken like multiple times. You get what I mean? So like, I want to sit back here and ask these questions. You got to play a bit of devil's advocate with this show. I feel like I just want to ponder these questions.
We move him right away. But this is the best trauma unit in the tri-state area. I'm up on all the ratings.
Oh, thanks, Hesh.
Sorry.
There's no news yet. Tony.
I like how you have the painting of Pope John Paul, I think, in the background.
Suffered cardiac and respiratory arrest due to internal bleeding. He was resuscitated. The bleeding was brought under control, and he's now in stable condition.
Yay!
What was the duration of the arrest?
About a minute.
Is he still intubated?
Well, they're removing the ventilator as we speak.
What the fuck you two talking about?
The worst is over, but he was clinically dead for about a minute.
Doctor, can I go in and see him?
No, he's going to be in post-op for about 4 or 5 hours, and then he's asked to speak with Mr. Galtieri.
Me?
He asked twice for you and Mr. Soprano.
What are you talking about? I'm not mad at you. Nobody's mad at you. I'm going to hell, T. You're not going anyways, bro.
He saw the red light.
I crossed over to the other side. You what? I saw the tunnel and the white light. I saw my father in hell.
Get the fuck out of here.
And the bouncer said that I'd be there too when my time comes.
What bouncer?
The Emerald Piper. That's our hell. It's an Irish bar where it's St. Patrick's Day every day, forever. Mikey Palmisi and Brendan Falone were there too. They were friends.
Those two guys hated each other.
Gotta relax, okay? You just need some rest. They're friends now. They were playing dice with 2 Roman soldiers and a bunch of the Irish guys.
Doesn't make sense.
And the Irish, they were winning every roll. And then Mikey gave me a message for both of you.
A message.
Yeah, he said, tell Tony and Paulie 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
This fucking morphine drip, I don't think it's working. I don't feel a fucking thing.
You gotta be careful with that. That was all he said?
Oh.
Mikey, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
What was he wearing?
Come on, let's go. He needs his rest.
He's got poorly paranoid
Yeah,
now.
a gangster suit, pinstripe, old-fashioned style.
Hey, that was a dream. Forget about it, okay? I'm gonna take you home soon.
I'm interested to see how this situation is going to change Chris. Even Paulie, now that he's planted that sort of...
They know that this kid likes his chemistry set a little too much.
He's in pain. The fuck else they gonna do?
I wonder if right there, Chris talking about...
What time was the Mikey hit?
Even Paulie's paranoid, but I'm just curious to see whether Chris's vision right there that he had, whether that's planting the seeds for future events in the show, that foreshadowing. You know, you got to pick up on the cues, the 3 o'clock gangster suit with pinstripes. So yeah, I'm paying attention to that. Like, you got to pay attention or like, look for that when it comes. He went to the nether realm.
All right, so I cheat. I used to cheat.
I used to cheat.
I'm not getting spayed. End of subject.
You brought up the vasectomy. Now you don't want to talk about it.
You asked me what was going on. Christopher was clinically dead for about a minute. He thinks he had one of those near-death experiences. Says he visited hell, and they told him he'd be back permanent.
Who's they?
It's bullshit. It was a dream, combined with the morphine. But now he thinks he's gonna go to hell when he dies. He's all fucked up over it.
Do you think he'll go to hell?
No. He's not the type that deserves hell.
Who do you think does?
That's
The
interesting.
worst people.
That's interesting.
The
Coming
twisted
from
and
his...
demented psychos who kill people for pleasure. The cannibals. The degenerate bastards that molest and torture little kids and they kill babies. The Hitlers, the Pol Pots. Those are the evil fucks that deserve to die. Not my nephew.
What about you?
What? Hell? You been listening to me? No. For the same reasons. We're soldiers, you know. Soldiers don't go to hell.
Interesting
It's war.
mindset.
Soldiers, they kill other soldiers.
Interesting mindset.
We're in a situation where everybody involved knows the stakes. And if you're going to accept those stakes, you got to do certain things. It's business.
It's interesting.
We're soldiers. We follow codes.
It's interesting. I get his mindset where he's born into that world, and he's basically had no choice all his life but to accept that world. Now, he's basically thinking, you know, God will see that, and like, you know, God's probably, I don't know. It's like a situation of God will be a bit lenient with you because you're born into that life, and it's like, you know, I feel like what Chris was saying, it's the Romans versus the Irish. So they bought those, you know, they have that old school mentality where they're still soldiers of war. You know, they're the Romans fighting against other empires, and they, you know, that's been brought into like the modern life, and you know, they're born and bred and raised into that life. They've had no choice. So I see where he's coming from in that stance, and it's very interesting. But at the same time, you have free will, and it's I think it's a part of you to choose between what's right and wrong. But at the same time, he didn't have that childhood to sort of differentiate between what's right and wrong. He probably saw what his father did was right and what his mother, she treated him as the norm. Hence his, effed up brain. So it all goes down to the childhood. Everyone has different experiences. So it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
Orders.
So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. When America opened the floodgates and let all us Italians in, what do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. They needed us to build their cities and dig their subways and to make them richer. The Carnegies and the Rockefellers, they needed worker bees, and there we were. But some of us didn't want to swarm around their hive and lose who we were. We wanted to stay Italian and preserve the things that meant something to us: honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted. And those other fucks, the J.P. Morgans, they were crooks and killers too, but that was the business, right? The American way.
That might all be true. But what do poor Italian immigrants have to do with you? And what happens every morning you step out of bed?
What the fuck is this all of a sudden?
I'm just asking a question.
Oh, so you're taking a stand here now? Huh? You pick here to make a stand? After all this time, telling me that nothing's my fault because of poor parenting. You pick now to act like Betsy fucking Ross. When my nephew's in a fucking hospital, he might not get out.
These therapy sessions are pure cinema. So good. 3 o'clock. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, Eminem style.
Kenny and I were supposed to be married at 1 o'clock in the Fountain Blue Room at the Roman Gardens. Mikey and Jojo had the Bella Vista room booked for 3. But the Bella Vista room is smaller and has no windows. A week before the wedding, Mikey saw the Bella Vista room and flipped out. He almost killed the events manager. So Mikey and Jojo got the Fountain Blue, and Kenny and me wound up in the Bella Vista room at 3 o'clock.
He going back for more details.
They whack him the same way he was whacked in life, and it's painful. Night after night. Does that sound like fucking heaven to you?
Was it hot?
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck?
The heat would have been the first thing you noticed. Hell is hot. That's never been disputed by anybody. You didn't go to hell. You went to purgatory, my friend.
I forgot all about purgatory.
Purgatory.
The in-between.
A little detour on our way to paradise.
How long do you think we gotta stay there?
Now, that's different for everybody. You add up all your mortal sins and multiply that number by 50. Then you add up all your venial sins and multiply that by 25. You add it together, and that's your sentence. I figure I'm gonna have to do about 6,000 years before I get accepted into heaven. And 6,000 years is nothing in eternity terms. I can do that standing on my head. It's like a couple of days here.
I feel like Paulie tries to...
Was I insensitive?
I feel like Paulie tries to, justify his his worry through humor and just to calm his mind and forget about things. It could have been purgatory. I don't know if it's up to debate. It didn't seem like any of the cues he gave were hell, but I don't know. It literally, it could have been purgatory. It could have been a dream. But in my opinion, maybe it's like a wake-up call, a call to be reborn, a call to get away from that life for Christopher and maybe even Paulie. So it's gonna be interesting to see when Chris does make a full recovery, how his attitude changes towards the mafia.
And perhaps, did I do it deliberately? Do I hate him?
How often are you taking the Ativan?
Almost every night.
And when else?
Sunday afternoon, I took one.
Only Tony Soprano can make a therapist go see a
There's
therapist.
another thing I've been drinking. Alone.
I'm glad you're telling me.
I'm living in a moral never land with this patient. Not wanting to judge, but to treat. But now, I've judged. I took a position, goddammit, and I'm scared.
I feel for you.
I feel like Elliot is hopeless, man. I feel for you.
I'll be back first thing in the morning. What do you want for breakfast?
You don't wake up till lunch, Mom.
Tomorrow I'll get up earlier, right? How about the peppers and eggs on the round bread? Yeah?
That sounds great.
Is this the first time we're seeing Christopher's mother?
No, I'm ready.
Okay. Bye.
So what did he say to you?
Who?
Jesus.
I didn't see Jesus.
Tony said that you saw Jesus smiling and he took you to see your father in heaven, and then he said it wasn't your time.
I was in hell, Carmela.
You what?
My father was in hell, and they said that's where I'd go when it's my time. Maybe it was purgatory, but I don't know.
It's a test. It's a wake-up call. To change your ways.
Then you have to look at this experience as an opportunity to repent. To change your heart. To start to walk in the light of the Lord. You were blessed by this, Christopher. You were blessed with a second chance.
I don't know, Carmela.
Well, I do know. And I am gonna pray, like I did the other night, and I'm gonna pray every day from now on. It is not too late for you, Christopher. If you pray.
Chase Hollywood, baby.
Will you pray? Or you just have to follow me.
That morphine kicking in, man. That morphine doing wonders.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I love... Alright.
Fine. Same. Any news?
No.
I love the character work this episode and seeing everyone's views on like reality and religion.
Oh, we're not talking now.
Due to this experience, they begin to question
What I have
things.
to say, Tony. If you can't be honest with me, at least have the balls to be honest with yourself.
Oh, I got balls. And as long as I do, they will remain intact. If you don't have faith in me, it's up to you.
You gotta prove it to yourself first, Tony. Yourself and God.
You know, you and God, Carmela, you're only religious when it suits you.
Oh, what is that supposed to mean?
Come here.
AJ just want to... Don't talk about God in front of AJ. He has a different worldview at the moment.
Oh, what is that supposed to mean?
The Pope doesn't even believe in Trojans, and you want me to get snipped. Isn't that a little bit hypocritical?
Look, Tony, I'm thinking of my family first. That's all.
Well, whatever's down here is God's creation. Isn't it a sin to undo the good work he's done?
Well, you should know. You made a living of it.
You're unfucking believable, you know that? Look what I made that living for. Hmm? What the fuck you doing? You had dinner an hour ago. What the fuck are you doing to yourself?
Tony, leave him alone.
I'm supposed to get a vasectomy when this is my male heir? Look at him.
Tony, come back here and apologize!
Wow. Insults flying left, right, and center this episode.
You're dragging me to hell.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
You're dragging me to hell.
Paulie, you had a nightmare, honey.
Mommy, someone was screaming. I'm scared.
No, honey, it's okay. It's okay.
Uncle Paulie had a bad dream.
Mommy.
Come here, baby. It's all right. It's all right.
It's okay, sweetheart. I'm putting up the bed. And I'm going home to sleep. I don't need to keep everyone up with this.
There's the wind chimes again.
How much can you believe in dreams?
Wait. Wrong. Christopher did not have a dream. A dream I make my peace. He was dead. Science said he was dead. Science.
You need to talk to someone who deals with this kind of thing professionally.
What kind of thing?
He's in New York, Paulie. In Nyack. His name is Cullen. He's a psychic.
A psychic? Get the fuck out of here.
He's famous for contacting dead relatives for people. He contacted my dead friend Ronnie. Remember Ronnie with the arm?
Yeah.
What, we're gonna get a Ouija board out in this bitch?
Elbow, and I didn't even tell him. He said Johnny is here, and I told him I didn't know any Johnnies. But then he said, well, one arm is shorter than the other. Does that mean anything to you? Ronnie. It was Ronnie.
Jesus. Fucking creep show.
Alright. Tackle Barney State Park. You know where that George Washington slept two houses? Up that road there's a gray house.
Bevelak was there?
$20, baby.
I love how Pussy's eating cheese. You know why? Because he's alright.
Are you telling me that's who you are, or that's who he is? I see. Right.
Oh, is this the psychic?
The spirit put him on.
Just go on. He can't hurt you. You don't have to be afraid. I understand.
I feel like doing these things is gonna even make Paulie more paranoid. One person says this, another says this, like...
I feel your anger.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
Charles. Yes, you have a son. You're with your son?
The fuck? I don't got no kids.
Oh, Sonny.
Pagano?
Kind spirit. Is your name Sonny? Charles Pagano.
How the fuck do you know that?
He says he was your first. But I feel many more.
Hey!
That one's laughing. Poison ivy? He wants to know if it's still...
Oh, Poison Ivy.
Don't fuck with me.
He's talking to Mikey.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Why? What the fuck are they saying?
You really want me to say it?
Fuck you and this bullshit. And that's what this is, you know. Satanic black magic. Sick shit.
I'm asking you to leave, sir.
Yeah? Fucking quiz! I was ready to write the whole thing off until the psychic mentioned little Sonny Pagano. But that, I don't know. I did this guy over 30 years ago, T. How the fuck did he know that?
Does he know where Matt Bevelak was? Huh? Did you ask the fucking Ghostbuster that? Because we're out there breaking our ass trying to find his kid, and you're up there fucking around in Nyack.
He deals only with the dead.
You eat steak?
Fuck you talking about?
If you were in India, you would go to hell for that.
I'm not in India. What do I give a fuck?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. None of this shit means a goddamn thing.
Everyone has their, like, different worldviews. Everyone has their cultures and their perceptions. And their religions and their beliefs. No sisters wanted. I think it says that on the door.
I'm not hungry.
You mind if I sit here while I eat?
How can he hear while the music's blaring like that? Like, come on.
I think you're the same way, you know. I think, your feelings, you keep them inside, and you and me, we react without thinking. That's why I get mad at you. You know, I see myself in you. I couldn't ask for a better son, AJ.
Aww.
I mean that.
It's those little memories you gotta remember. These little interactions.
Thanks.
Want a piece of pizza?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Pussy's on the phone. He says it's urgent.
The best Tony AJ interaction in this show so far. Oh, no sisters allowed. Sorry, my bad.
Nothing.
Keeping her in the dark again.
He's way the fuck out near Morristown, Packlebarney State Park.
Oh, what about that George Washington slept here house?
Yeah.
This could be a setup. You never know.
Give me one.
You don't have to do this. Furio and me are on it.
I want to do this.
Good.
Cut Furio loose. Raise a crowd.
Oh no, I think they got him. He about to be a snack, literally.
Would you just take it easy, will you? We just want to talk to you. That's all.
It wasn't me. It was Sean. Just Sean.
I was shaking.
You're gonna fucking kill me for something I didn't do.
I think their mind has already been made up.
Don't you think we could have killed you already if we wanted you dead? Relax. We just want to talk to you.
It was Sean. You gotta believe me. It was Sean. He got nuts. He said we're being pissed on and disrespected, and then we should score points with Richie. But I told him, hey, Rome wasn't built in one day. Anything, Tony. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
What'd Richie say?
It had nothing to do with Richie. He didn't ask for it. He got mad when I told him. Sean did it on spec.
All right. Come here. Come here, come on. Are you sure nobody else was involved? Take a minute, think it over.
It was Sean all the way.
All right. You're a good kid.
I'm thirsty.
See if you got something to drink.
What can I get you?
See if we got something to drink.
Something like that?
There was a comment actually the other day, or like yesterday when I posted episode 2 of season 2, and it talked about this actor who plays Matt and his backstory. And funnily enough, I searched him up and a couple of reels on Instagram came up of him doing a podcast and telling his story, and him being a child actor in Hollywood, having his 15 minutes of fame and how that went downhill, him like accepting roles or turning down roles he had, and he had like the world in his hands, and then it was crazy. I listened to a bit of it. I don't know the full backstory, but it was crazy.
How was that? I mean, you sure you want a diet drink? You don't want something with some sugar in it?
There's only diet.
It's good.
You finished?
Thank you, T.
Cause that sugarless motherfucker, the last fucking drink you're ever gonna have.
Oh, God, Mommy! Mommy, please, Tony, please.
Told you, their minds are made up. Man asked if he was hungry, and he swallowed bullets.
23 years of donations to your parish.
Nah, man, I gotta watch that again.
The last fucking drink you ever...
That was riveting. Man had Die It Coke.
Cause that sugarless motherfucker, The last fucking drink you're ever gonna have.
Oh, God, Mommy.
Mommy.
Mommy, please, Tony, please.
We're not even rolling with silences anymore. Far out. Damn.
23 years late. You've been slacking off on me, and you left me unprotected. I'm cutting you off for good. You ain't never gonna see another dime from me.
Even Paulie questioning his religion this episode. See, this is those moments where you don't abandon your faith. This is those moments where your faith is tested and you gotta be stronger in faith. You don't abandon Jesus in these moments. These moments are a test.
Rich man and a poor man. They got
Paulie
the same
did the
wedding
wrong thing
anniversary.
there.
Every year they meet on Madison Avenue when they're shopping for their wives. So the poor man says to the rich man, "What'd you buy your wife this year?" He says, "I got her a huge diamond ring and a brand new Mercedes." Poor man says, "What'd you get her both for?" Rich man says, "If you don't like the diamond ring, she can bring it back in the Mercedes and still be happy."
Is Tony having a T-bone steak? Am I reading too much into it? It looks like a T-bone steak, you know, T for Tony. Like, and the guy said T before at mommy, and he asked Paulie before about eating steak. Like,
Rich man says to the poor man, "What'd you get your wife this year?" He says, "I got her a pair of slippers and a dildo." Rich man says, "What'd you get her a pair of slippers and a dildo for?" Poor man says, "If she don't like the slippers, she can go fuck herself."
hey,
Can I get another Heineken?
Sure.
the cop said you gotta earn Tony's love again.
Remember the first time you brought me here?
Yeah, I remember.
Popped my cherry that night. You believe in God?
Yeah, I do, Tom. Absolutely. Works in very mysterious ways, his wonders to perform, but no doubt. He's been very good to me.
So,
Memoirs of Geisha. I like how at the beginning of the episode, Carmelo's reading the Bible, and then she closed that book, and now she's reading a different book in bed at night. We're not gonna shower before bed after we just committed a murder? With blood splattering everywhere?
I'll do it.
Vasectomy?
You do what?
Snip, snip.
What?
Meadow is leaving soon. I may want to have another baby.
There's room for one more. One room emptied out.
What are you, trying to drive me fucking crazy? What's behind all this? Ralphie told over this, come on, then a vasectomy, then no vasectomy, and now this. Huh? Oh, well, now you don't want me cut?
All I want is you. That's all I have ever wanted. And I want you to be true and to be mine. I want you to not cheat.
I will be true, come. From
No,
now on.
oh, Tony, please.
Well, if you're not gonna believe me, then fine. Then what can I do?
I don't know.
What can I do?
Prove it to me.
And the same love song plays from the beginning. The angels are watching over you.
Man, life is such a
It is. Life is such a weird thing, my friend. Hey, that was a fantastic episode of Sopranos yet again. I love the questions that the characters were asked this episode. I love the questions they had to ponder, you know, through this experience of Christopher. It got them, I guess, re-questioning their lives, their life choices, their decisions, their beliefs. And at the same time, it got, even though, like, at the same time, it got the characters questioning their beliefs and stuff. It had me questioning the characters' decisions in terms of like what they're thinking, and then, you know, me, you know, giving my shares, my thoughts and opinions on, you know, what they sort of or how they sort of responded to this situation. It was a very interesting episode of The Sopranos. Like, it was, yeah, like the most interesting and I guess maybe complex episode of this season thus far, in terms of like exploring the characters in their beliefs. Not just Tony himself, but delving into more territory with Melfi, Carmela, Paulie. We've seen what AJ thinks now, and I love that conversation with AJ and Tony this episode. And I'm very, very interested to see how Chris comes out of this situation. What's he gonna think of the entire situation now, or like how is he gonna view his life now after the attempted shooting right now? Is he gonna delve right back into the mafia? Is he gonna carry on like business as usual, or is he gonna completely change for the better and, you know, get away from this life? Or is Tony gonna suck him back in and think, you know, give him the same sort of pep talk he's given him twice now this show about, you know, you either go over and do that nonsense over there, or you stick with me every day of your life. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Tony has any sympathy for Chris's decisions after this, whatever his decisions may be. But yeah, the episode was definitely, like, it looked like a wake-up call for all the members of this family, because someone close to them got hit and potentially almost died. And you saw it in the episode. I don't know, this was different from the episode where Tony had an attempted hit on him. You saw his views of that, but this was different. This was one of their own as well, but it seemed to affect a larger group of people and got them questioning a lot, like a lot. And yeah, this is an episode I want to delve deep into like researching after a more, like, you know, analytical breakdown of this episode, because I thought it was very, very great, very great in terms of, like, this show is great in general, but yeah, it felt like this episode, less character drama in terms of like characters trying to, you know, snake each other and plot against each other, but more character drama in terms of, like, you know, just questioning everyone's outlook on life, questioning reality and things like that. And I love that. This show manages to cover so much ground and cover so much real life topics, and I love it. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these reactions. As always, be your boy Elie Moses. Take care. God bless and peace.